Hi, and welcome to the channel. So, do you remember which crime of the century led to what was reported as the trial of the century? Well, the trial began on this day, the 2nd of January 1935, and ran for 6 weeks. But first, let's take a look at the crime that shook a nation. Our story takes us back to the early 1930s, a time when Charles Lindbergh, a renowned aviator, had captured the hearts of millions with his solo transatlantic flight, a feat of human courage and ingenuity. Yet, the unthinkable happened. Lindbergh's infant son was kidnapped from their family home, leaving behind a chilling ransom note that sent shockwaves through the nation. The Lindbergh family complied with the kidnappers' demands, but their worst fears were confirmed when the lifeless body of their child was discovered months later. The nation mourned alongside the Lindberghs, their golden hero now struck with an unimaginable tragedy. The shocking crime, the desperate ransom, and the tragic end of an innocent life. All these elements swirled into a storm of public outrage and sorrow. The stage was set for a trial that would captivate the world. In the wake of a nation's grief, the hunt for the culprit began. The search was unrelenting. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, local police forces, even private investigators employed by Charles Lindbergh himself, all were mobilized in a desperate bid to solve this unthinkable crime. The Lindbergh baby kidnapping had shocked the nation, and the public clamored for justice. The initial investigation was fraught with difficulties. The crime scene had been contaminated, the ransom note left few clues, and the kidnapper had seemingly vanished into thin air. It was a case that seemed destined to go cold, but fate had something else in store. The first breakthrough came when gold certificates from the ransom money started to appear in circulation. The bills were traced back to a gas station in the Bronx, where an attendant had made a note of the car's license plate number. The car belonged to a German carpenter named Richard Hauptmann. Upon searching Hauptmann's residence, the police discovered a significant amount of the ransom money hidden in his garage, but that wasn't all. They also found a sketch of a homemade ladder, eerily similar to the one used in the kidnapping. The evidence was mounting against Hauptmann, and the public was growing restless for an arrest. In the early hours of September 19, 1934, Hauptmann was taken into custody. The news of his arrest spread like wildfire, and the nation breathed a collective sigh of relief. But questions remained. Could this carpenter from the Bronx be responsible for such a heinous crime? Was he acting alone, or was he part of a larger conspiracy? The answers would come in due course, but for now, the focus shifted to the impending trial. It promised to be a spectacle unlike anything the country had ever seen. A media frenzy ensued, as the public eagerly awaited the proceedings. This was more than just a trial, it was a moment of reckoning, a moment where justice would finally be served. With Hauptmann's arrest, the public eagerly awaited the trial. The stage was set for one of the most sensational court cases in American history. The Lindbergh trial was about to begin. January 2, 1935, the first day of a trial that would go down in history. An air of anticipation hung heavy as the trial of Bruno Richard Hauptmann kicked off. Accused of the unthinkable, the kidnap and murder of Charles Lindbergh's young son, Hauptmann, was thrust into the eye of a media hurricane. The nation watched, breathless, as the drama unfolded in a small courthouse in Flemington, New Jersey. The prosecution was led by the relentless and renowned David T. Wilentz, the Attorney General of New Jersey. He had a reputation for being a tough and meticulous prosecutor, a man who left no stone unturned in his quest for justice. Opposing him was Hauptmann's defense team, led by Edward J. Riley, a flamboyant character known for his theatrical courtroom displays. The stage was set for a monumental clash. Charles Lindbergh, the heartbroken father, was a key figure at the trial. His testimony was poignant and impactful. Despite his grief, Lindbergh was composed, recounting the agonizing details of the night his son was taken. His credibility was unimpeachable. He was, after all, a national hero, the first man to fly solo across the Atlantic. But the prosecution's case was not solely reliant on Lindbergh's testimony. They presented a mountain of evidence, including a homemade ladder supposedly used in the crime, and ransom notes with handwriting eerily similar to Hauptmann's. The defense, however, maintained Hauptmann's innocence, arguing that he was a scapegoat, a man wrongfully accused. As the trial progressed, the tension was palpable. The media ran wild with speculation, the public sentiment swinging like a pendulum between sympathy for Hauptmann and a thirst for justice for the Lindbergh family. It was a spectacle like no other, a trial that kept the nation on the edge of its seat, a trial that promised to be as dramatic as it was tragic. As the trial progressed, the evidence against Hauptmann seemed to mount. The world held its breath as the jury deliberated. The deliberation was intense, the air thick with anticipation. Across the nation, people waited with bated breath as 12 men and women held the fate of Bruno Richard Hauptmann in their hands. The jury returned after 11 hours of consideration, their verdict ringing out in the hushed courtroom: guilty of first-degree murder and kidnapping. Despite the damning evidence, Hauptmann maintained his innocence to the end, his stoic demeanor unyielding even in the face of his impending execution. His final words echoed in the silence of the death chamber, a plea of innocence that fell on deaf ears. "I am innocent of the crime of which I stand accused," he declared, moments before the executioner's switch was thrown. The world watched as Hauptmann paid the ultimate price for his supposed crimes. His execution on April 3, 1936 was the final chapter in a saga that had captivated a nation, a grim conclusion to a tale of unimaginable tragedy. But the story of the Lindbergh trial did not end with Hauptmann's death. In the years that followed, controversy and theories swirled around the case like moths to a flame. Doubts were raised about the integrity of the evidence, questions were asked about the fairness of the trial. Rumors of police misconduct, of tainted testimonies, of scapegoats and cover-ups began to seep into public consciousness. Even today, the trial continues to provoke debate. Some believe in Hauptmann's guilt, convinced by the circumstantial evidence and his criminal past. Others staunchly defend his innocence, pointing to the inconsistencies and alleged corruption that marred the case. The Lindbergh trial remains a poignant reminder of a time of great sorrow and a justice system under scrutiny. A testament to the power of public sentiment, the allure of sensationalism, and the enduring quest for truth. The Lindbergh trial, a testament to a time of great sorrow and a justice system under the microscope. So, what makes the Lindbergh trial the trial of the century? This question echoes through time, resonating even today. The trial, commencing on the 2nd of January 1935, was not merely a case of justice served. It was a spectacle that held the nation's attention, a testament to the growing power of media in shaping public perception. The Lindbergh trial was the first to be dubbed the trial of the century, a moniker fitting for the attention it received and the precedent it set. It became a symbol of the struggle between the common man and the privileged elite, and of the power of the media to sway public opinion. The trial also highlighted flaws in the justice system, prompting discussions on fair trials and the death penalty. The Lindbergh trial, a pivotal moment in history, continues to captivate us, reminding us of the enduring quest for truth and justice. So there we have it, a crime and a trial that caused a nation to feel emotionally involved. If you like the interesting and fun facts we have offered you here on this day, then please do all that good stuff like sharing and subscribing, and we will see you here at the same time tomorrow with another little piece of historic gossip. Take care.